Again, this week we're basically going to talk about website management tools, online tickets, and fantasy. The first one was largely about season management, creating a season, those types of things. Second one was largely about race management. So again, those are available on the recordings. But this week, a lot of website stuff, some online ticketing type stuff, and other things like that. So we will go ahead and get started. First, let me share my screen here. With me today are Dakota. He's going to, handle a lot of the answering questions in the chat and those types of things. Chris is on here as well. Chris is available for questions and other things of that nature. So if you reach out to support at MyRacePass.com or call our support line, primarily Dakota or myself will answer, but Chris will be around for questions as well. Chris kind of heads up our track and website sales. But I'm going to start with the web management stuff. And as we kind of go through, a typical website in MyRacePass, some of the tools that are available to manage those websites. Now, a lot of the websites are going to be managed by just using the race management features that exist. So the three probably most high traffic areas to a website are your schedule, your results, and your points pages. And you won't ever have to enter anything in schedule, results, or points because that'll just populate by using MyRacePass. You obviously in season management, you create a schedule. Obviously, that schedule just appears on the website also. As you complete your races, you score your races. Those results show on the website. As you calculate your points, those points show on the website. So there's not a lot that you have to do in any of those places. So then we start to look at some of the other things. So primarily, that's going to be like a contact page, pictures or videos, news. And then there's some custom page options that you've got available too. But that's largely going to be what we're looking at here. So I'm going to start with news. There's a news tab right here, or when you go to web management, there's a news option there as well. Both takes you to the same place, and it's this screen to be able to add news options. This is like a pretty straightforward stuff here. First off, when you come to this screen, and you go to add, the first thing that you'll see, it didn't pop up for me this time, but the first thing that you'll see is a pop-up come up that'll show you any news articles that a different network has written about your track or series. So if, you're a racetrack and you've got a series coming to town and that series writes a news article and tags your facility in the news article, you'll have the option to either add that news story to your website or dismiss it. And it works the same way for you. If you write a news article and tag a different track or a different series or different drivers in your news article, they'll have the option to add those as well. So you can kind of see how news can be shared across multiple profiles, pretty quickly and efficiently here. You can also find that screen by clicking this Find News button. So as I click Find News, it'll bring up a pop-up, and I can search for news. So I'm going to search for news about the World of Outlaws. I can search for news about the World of Outlaws. And, I can add any of those news articles to my website. So if you're just adding news about general racing stuff, that's if you're just adding news about general racing stuff, you can, pretty quickly and easily add those types of things. And it works out pretty well. I've got a good example here I'll bring over. So as I come to the news page here for Midwest Power Series, this pop-up shows up. Okay, Jack Dover wrote this one. This one's, about Scott Boguski. This one's about Caleb Johnson. This one's from Parker Price Miller. All of those different profiles that wrote news articles and tagged Midwest Power Series, I have the option to either add or dismiss those news articles as they come up. So that's pretty valuable to be able to have that option. Continue going through news here. Adding a news article is fairly straightforward. Just start typing your own. We'll add news, and there's a couple of options here. First off, the heading, just what it sounds like. What do you want the title of your news article to be? The body exists here as well. Again, just what it sounds like. What do you want to be the components of your news article? I recommend the first line of that body to be photo credit, and then 2 spaces, and then you start the body of your news article in earnest. Always good idea to give photo credit. Give those guys some love for doing the hard work that they do. And then, yeah, typically news articles will start with, the location and the date and the bulk of the news article. I also recommend to write your news article, actually type it out in some type of other word processing software like Microsoft Word or something like that, just because in the off chance that you do lose internet, you don't want to lose everything that you've worked on to that point. You don't want it to go away. I worked in education for a few years, so that's where that advice comes from. Student says, I lost my entire essay. Well, this is a way to prevent that from happening. You can also add article credits here. So on the bottom of your news article that you're writing, you can choose an article credit, or you can submit as administrator. So the article credit does not appear. A couple of different options there, though. So that's the basis of writing one. In terms of tagging, this is how the article network that I was describing earlier works. You tag the article as, if it's about a modified race, you can tag this as, a modified race. You can tag the drivers. So if you're going to include the top 3 in each feature, you can tag those drivers. Your track will be here automatically, but if you're a series, you can tag a track. If you're a track, you can tag a series or an event or a specific class. You can also tag sponsors in there as well. And that if that client, if that driver or that series is not a client, it'll show on their profile automatically. And if they are a client, then they'll have the option to add it as it comes to them. So that networking can be pretty powerful stuff. Beyond that, you can also add media to your news articles, whether that's an image or multiple images. That's pretty straightforward too. Click to add media. There's a couple of options here. You can either choose media that's in one of your galleries or in a miscellaneous unorganized gallery. So if you're using an image that you've already got in your website or that you've used in the past, you can easily find it that way. Or you can also upload a new one. So I can go to upload new, and then it's just a local upload from your machine. You can go ahead and, here we go. No gallery, we'll choose no gallery. And then you can upload the file. Again, you can tag the individual photo with various things. But, all that stuff exists. Then when you got the photo added that you want, it'll exist here for article media. You can see I didn't add anything, so it's blank right now. You have to add one piece of media for your news article to publish. But once you've got the heading, the body, the way you want it, media added, all those types of things, then you can use this preview option, and which, of course, the date can't be past today. Well, I don't know why it defaulted to tomorrow, but whatever, that works. I can go through and I can choose anything that I want to add here. We'll save. We'll go forward there. Selected that one. So now I can preview this. Goodness gracious. And then now that I previewed it, okay, it looks the way I want it to look. The news date is this, whatever else. I can publish the news article. And then when I publish, I can go back and edit all of the things that I've already put in here. I can share it to social media this way, share it to Facebook or Twitter with that button. And this is the primary way to use news, you guys. You don't want to have an entire press release on social media. Now, I'm not a PR or social media guy by any means, but if you've got a website through us, then you're worried about digital advertising. And if you're worried about digital advertising, you want to drive traffic back to your website. So don't put an entire news article or all the information on the world on Facebook and Twitter. Create a news article, share the news article. Then they have to click the news article to get the information. Drives traffic to your website. You're helping yourself out with digital advertising, and you're giving the drivers all the information that they need and the fans all the information that they need in a lot more, honestly, a lot more professional looking way. So utilize the news article, guys. Anybody who's favorited your track in the app is going to get a push notification when you guys do a news article. So if you want something to be out there and you want everyone to see it, put it on Facebook. That's all well and good. But honestly, doing a news article is going to make sure the people who care the most are notified immediately and that you're driving traffic back to your website. And those are valuable things. So we want to continue to try to do those things as well. And then, then there's one other option up here. It's the featured or not featured. Some of the websites that you have are going to use featured or not featured news on the home pages of your websites, depending on how we've done that. Sometimes it's headlines, but sometimes it's featured or not featured news. So if you want something to show on the homepage, make it featured, and that will that'll make that happen for you as well. Chris, do you have something?
Yeah, in the messages here, guys, I have a link. Can I give an example to Crawford County Speedway out in Iowa? This is one example I use. It kind of shows you how the tagging will work. You'll notice it's a article about Josh Krug and the top 10 he had one night. Well, here's the original article from his website right here. And so what I did was I do his PR. It's my cousin, and I went ahead and I tagged Crawford County in the article. Now that website shows up on, or that article shows up on Crawford County's website because they accepted it. So it's really a great way to get exposure. Maybe there's a driver that's at your racetrack and fans know the driver, but they don't really know your racetrack just yet. Well, if you have your article on their racetrack, they're going to know who you are because they went to his website. So it's a great way to get exposure. And that push notifications as well. That's an extremely valuable tool. We're throwing your guys' content, your fans' faces there. So we have a video on our YouTube channel that shows you how to favorite a profile on the MyRacePass app. So be sure to check that out, and we encourage you to share that as well on social media.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I'll move on from news now. We've covered news. The next thing that I'll talk about here is media. And if you have a photos or videos tab on your website, this is where you're going to be able to manage that stuff. So I'll click media here, and we'll jump to photos. This is the process of adding images to your website. First off, you'll see that you can have multiple galleries. Galleries basically is just a way to organize your photos into different groups. So if I come here, maybe not. Maybe that's been taken down. Let me try that again. Chris, do you have a good example of a website that uses galleries?
Some of the newer ones do. Like I-30 Speedway, they use galleries quite a bit here. I'm not sure they're live just yet, though.
Okay. Let me look here. Here we go. I'll just go to the racetrack that I work at, something I know and trust. So this is the difference between having galleries or not. Jackson Motorplex has galleries on their website. So now instead of just having a wall of photos here, you can separate them into different areas and add those different, and then when I click on a gallery, then I'll be able to see the photos associated with that gallery. So as I come to this main page here, this is where you're creating galleries. So I can add a new gallery up here. I can arrange the galleries to reorder them, but it's all pretty straightforward stuff. It's just groups of photos. And then as I click into one of the groups of photos, this is where you can start adding the images that are in that gallery. Actually, this gallery even took it a step further and has sub-galleries, which you have the option to do. I don't typically, but you guys all have your own websites. You can do what you want. Here's a good example. When I click on a gallery, you can see all the photos that have been added to that gallery, and you can add new photos as well. A couple of other things that you can do here is you can reorder the images. So this, I think, has real people in it. So we'll switch this to the top, or you can do whatever you want there. You can remove. So if I click on a photo, I can remove from the gallery. The Cubs are awful, so I'm going to remove that from this gallery. You can do different things like that. Reorder, move. One of the more important things that you can do is add captions. I would strongly recommend that you add captions to your photos. I'm not going to get into the legalese as to why, but it's a good practice to be in to add captions, whether that's a title or a description. It doesn't really matter either way. But add some kind of caption to the photos that you're uploading. Make that happen. And then, like I said, of course, you can add the images as well. So when you're going into this adding images screen, you can either select the gallery that you want to add that to, or you can add it to miscellaneous. Miscellaneous means that our File Explorer screen here will house the image. It'll always be available for use in different ways, but it just won't show on the front end of the website. So if you've got a bunch of stuff that you want to throw in here because you might want to use that for pictures and news articles later on, or something like that, throw them in miscellaneous. They won't show on the front end of the website, but they'll still be saved here. But regardless of what you choose, we're basically uploading a new photo, and this is the same screen as the media for the news articles. You're just bringing a photo in, whether you drag and drop or click the select files, tagging it the way you want it, and then it's a part of that gallery. So that's pretty straightforward stuff. I will tell you that the videos tab is exactly the same. The interface is the same. The way the galleries work is the same. Everything is the same, except for there's one difference majorly, and that is when you're adding a video, it's no longer a local upload. You're not uploading it from your machine like a photo would be. You're actually linking to it. These have to be hosted online. They can't be, local files on your machine. And the reason for that is server space. But you want to have something like that on YouTube or Vimeo or whatever. Oftentimes for the videos that I'm going to put on my sites, I have just a private YouTube channel, so it's not public. People can't go to YouTube and search for them, but it's a private YouTube channel, and then I just link to it here. Works out pretty good that way. And there's a player inside of the website, so it's not like when you link to a YouTube video, it's actually going to push the client to YouTube. They're still going to be able to watch it in the interface of your website. It's just that's where the data is coming from, is we're just taking the YouTube file as the data and putting it in there. So that's that file manager. Again, there's not a whole lot to it. Just how you want to organize photos and how you want them to look, those types of things and videos. But that's pretty straightforward stuff. Beyond that, there's the contact page. Couple of options in the contact page. The first option is this general contact information. This would be, so every contact page that we do is going to have like the classic form that people fill out. So this is the information that you want to show above that form. So as I come to the contact page that we've built for a couple of other folks here, let me jump to Lucas Oil Email Alert Series. This is where that general contact information will show. So there's the email form that exists that people can fill out to send you an email. But some folks choose to have a general contact information up above that as well, the phone number and email address and things of that nature. So that's where you're putting in that information, is just in this general contact information. The next comes, there's a form subjects area. So now this is the form. This is the traditional form right here that folks are going to fill out. They're going to fill out their name and their email and their phone and whatever subject line options that you've got. And the form subjects listing here is basically you putting into the program what email address or addresses you want those emails to go to. So you can have multiple subject lines, and that's where, this comes into play. Based on what you put there, it gives them a drop down of those options. But you can have, general inquiries go to one, sponsorship go to one, whatever you want those subjects to be, and whatever email addresses you want those different things to go to. So if somebody chooses general inquiries, it can go to, a specific email address or multiple. It can go to many if you'd like. Same thing with the other options there. Along with this, there's a staff members area. I use Lucas Oil Email Alert Series as my option for staff members. This is what that ends up looking like. You can just have each individual person that works for you listed on this screen. This is a pretty rarely used feature, but it is available if you want, contact information for each individual staff member to show. And then the last option here is view messages. And this is literally just a place where you can view the messages that people have sent to you. So even if they went to a specific email address, you can still read them all here. So that contact page stuff is really simple and easy. There's not a lot to it. And it's pretty streamlined there. Beyond that, the other thing that I'll show you here, let me see here. I think that was really all I had to show you. There a lot of people with the website are going to have a sponsors page or a marketing partners page or something like that. Something that's basically a list of your sponsors. We want to put that on there for you. So if you've got sponsors to put on your websites, send me the logo, support@myracepass.com. So send me the link that should be behind that logo. So if somebody clicks on the logo, what website it should take them to. So if you want to give your marketing partners, a little bit extra ad revenue, you want to be able to sell them online impressions. We'll have a sponsors page. We'll have it looking nice. We'll have all the photos on or the logos on there. I kind of can give you, I guess, an example here of Lucas. We built Lucas's site. So, all these are links to the various marketing partners and, makes it look professional, gives you a professional option there. But again, your schedules tab, your points tab, all of that stuff, that's going to be set based off of race management. A lot of this stuff is really going to be simple and easy. Beyond that, on your websites, we're always going to be able to give you a link to live timing and scoring. That's what Lucas has here. If you want that, you can, that basically sends people to where they can download the app. So people are coming to you. They're saying, hey, how do I get live timing and scoring? What's the MyRacePass app about? We can give you a button that you can click on that'll take people to a place where they can download it. Same thing with your registrations. You want your drivers to register. We can put a big driver registration button on your website. Makes it obvious and easy and simple for them. If you're doing online tickets through us, we can give you a buy tickets option as well. A big button on your website. All of those things are pretty customizable. All of our sites are basically infinitely customizable. I don't want to say infinitely. There's certain things that are, better than others, but all of our sites are very customizable. We've partnered with Firethorn Marketing to build our track and series sites on our platform for the most part. It's been a great one. We're getting 3 to 4 out a week, and we're backed up from there. Our websites are extremely popular amongst tracks and series because there's a level of professionalism that you're getting here, and you're not having to duplicate the information of the entry screen and things of that nature. So I guess in terms of web management tools to show you, that's basically what I have. We can also build custom pages in here as well. So I can, we can build you pages for your special events and things of that nature. But that's kind of what I got to show you in the websites. Dakota, you got something for me?
They're asking in the chat if the logos need to be JPEGs or vectors. Does it matter either way?
No, it doesn't matter. Send them to me. We can make it happen. Nope. Cool. So that's the web management stuff that I've got. There's a couple of other things that I want to show you here in the program. First thing being tickets. We're going to go to the ticket management screen. We have greatly expanded the way that we do tickets here very recently. So there's kind of a classic way to do tickets that I'll show you here. And then there's a reserved option that's very new as well that I'll show you, at the same time. Now, first off, in order to add tickets to your events, the events have to exist first. So you want to do online tickets through us? Great. Get a hold of myself, get a hold of Chris, get a hold of Dakota. We can help you through that process. But just be aware that your schedule has to exist first. So go into season management, build a schedule. From there, we can come to this ticket management screen. And I can do a couple of different things from here, starting with adding tickets. I'll add a new ticket. So basically all we're doing is we're selecting an event on your schedule, and we're adding a ticket to it. This is the information that you've got available to you now in the tickets, and this is all for general admission style tickets. If you're doing reserved ticketing, we're not going to go through this process. It's going to be largely handled by us, and we're going to need ticket maps and things like that from you. But if you're doing general admission only seats for an event, this is the process that we'll go through. Ticket name is just going to default to the event name. You can also put whatever you want in there to edit that field. You can set availabilities, when you want it to go on sale, when you want them to, stop being sold. You can put pre-sale options in here if you have a pre-sale price. If you put the gates open and races start option, they'll be printed on the tickets as well. So again, a lot of that pre-self-explanatory stuff, but it's a good idea to have an idea of what you want to do here. The next option is very important. What do you want to happen if your event is canceled, if your event's rained out or whatever? This option is important. We want to have this set correctly because it'll dictate a lot of things. The way that we handle tickets is fairly straightforward. We process all the payments, and then when your event happens or when that event date comes by, you come here into the ticket management screen and you tell us that the event happened or it didn't happen. And then what happens when it didn't happen is governed by what option you pick here. So if your event happened, we'll ACH you all the money. Get you the money right away, directly to your bank account, no fees taken out. You get all the money of every ticket sold. If you're selling a ticket for $10, you're going to get $10 for every seat. We're going to end up charging $11.90. We take a $1.90 fee, but you're going to get all $10 of your seat. What you put here is either rain check for the next event of the same type or refund. So this is where it's valuable here. If your ticket's rained out, you'll never have to worry about a refund again. We'll handle the refunds. Now, you still have the freedom and availability to set policies about individual tickets. So if someone comes to us and says, I need a refund for this race because I can't make it, or I got sick, or you have every right to either say there's no refunds or you can refund an individual ticket. There's an interface for that. But in terms of for the entirety of the event, you sell 500 tickets and your event rains out, we handle 500 refunds. You don't have to think about it at all. I can't tell you how convenient that is for folks who have struggled with refunds in the past. Or you can have it rain checked for the next event of the same type. So basically, you just pick an event and they're refunded for that night. We can help you through that process as well. Beyond that, now you're setting the types of tickets that you're going to sell for GA stuff. We've got a lot of stuff built in here. So look, you want adult tickets, kids tickets, and then, I don't know, we'll go, we'll sell pit passes too. So you can just check those boxes, set the number of available, set a price and a pre-sale price if that applies. And you're all set and good to go there. If you make a ticket active here and you don't put anything in the availability box, it'll treat it like an infinite number of tickets. So it'll never sell out. If you put a -1 in the availability box, it'll do the same thing, infinite number of tickets. Otherwise, if you put 25 in here, the 26th person will get a message that says tickets sold out. Tickets are unavailable. So you can manage that however you'd like. We'll just go, I don't know, what's fair? 25, 10, and what was the other one I did? Pit pass 35. There we go. There's my tickets. We'll add the tickets for that night. We're good to go there. So now when an event has passed, or if I want to edit a future event, all I got to do is come in here, click on the event date, and now this is where I can either get my funds or fulfill refunds. So if I click that box, it'll send a text message verification to whatever phone number you want. It can only be one phone number. Only one person can manage that. But whatever phone number you want to have, it'll send a text message verification to them. So it'll send that code. And then you basically type the code in here into this screen after you get it. And you say either, yes, the event happened, send me my money, or no, the event didn't happen, fulfill the refunds. And so you can tell the program what to do there. But I can also edit all of my times up here. And down here, I can edit all of the availabilities. I can add a ticket poster to the event. So this is largely just an image that's associated with the ticket. So if you want that to be an event flyer, if you want that to be other information in an image, whatever you want it to be, usually event flyer works the best, but you can get creative with that if you'd like. And then there's coupon options. And these are basically just images that are put on the back of the ticket stub, the back of the ticket as they're sold. Or if they get their tickets digitally, page 2, basically. So again, you got a marketing partner. They want to give away, 50% off oil changes from Bob's Garage to everybody who bought a ticket in advance. You can do that this way. Free Seafoam Bugs Be Gone cleaner. You can do that this way. Whatever you want to do, you can put in images on the back of your tickets. Even if it's $25 off to your own merchandise stand. Whatever you want to put on there, you absolutely can. Couple of other things in here. You can look at a sold tickets view. So obviously I don't have any tickets sold for this screen, but you can look at all the tickets that you've sold for this event. You can print a report to show you more information about the people that have sold the tickets, or that have bought the tickets, excuse me. And you can also print the customer information. So you have access to all of their email addresses for your paying customers in this screen. So you want to start an email, mailer list for every time you have a monster truck event. You want to advertise that to the people that bought tickets to your last monster truck event. That's a valuable tool to be able to direct email market to those people. So you have all of their information there. We don't sell that information, by the way. That is your information to do what you want with. A ticket window screen exists here as well. This is race night ticket scanning. This is nice and it's great. And you click in this box and you scan the ticket with the ticket scanner that you purchased. And there's a click and scan, click and scan, click and scan. Very simple and easy. However, I have my own personal mission to make this screen irrelevant. I want this screen to not matter and I want it to go away. And the reason for that is that we've implemented a ticket scanner in the MyRacePass app. So you got your ticket takers. If they have a MyRacePass account, you send me the email address associated with it, and they can scan tickets on that phone as the people come through the gate. It doesn't scan the same ticket twice, doesn't scan tickets to the wrong event. We've tested it 1,000 different ways, many ways from Sunday. The only thing that I'll tell you is that if they've crinkled up their ticket real bad and it's on paper, sometimes it won't scan. Other than that, you don't have to click the box. It's just you scan the ticket, the app turns green, then it goes back to scan mode, and you can scan the next ticket. And you can scan 100 tickets lickety-split just like that. It's so convenient, and we've got so much development time into it to make it perfect that this screen is nice, and you can see in this screen who's redeemed and who hasn't, so it's valuable. But man, that ticket scanner in the app is $1 million, you guys, and you don't have to pay anything extra to get it. It just works. You just have to tell me the email address of the person you want it turned on for, and it's turned on and ready to go. So that's, I guess there's a couple of other things that I'll show you here in this ticket screen. First off, I'll show you what it looks like on the front end. I got an event here to get tickets. It's really simple. You know, I'm going to buy one adult general admission ticket. I'm going to add it to the cart. And when I go to check out, it brings me to my cart. And all I have to do is enter my information here for billing and shipping. So it's really straightforward. It's really easy. I mean, the front end's super convenient. I'm going to save this front end for later because it's going to matter. Chris, what's up?
Yeah, with that, I'm not sure if you touched on the advice for not doing a free ticket. Do we touch on that at all? And kind of what happens there by chance, Austin?
Yeah, if you try to sell a ticket for free, it'll still charge our $1.90 fee in the cart. So they're going to get charged $1.90 for a free ticket. So if you're doing free tickets, I would advise you to do it some other way.
Yeah, essentially what a lot of our promoters do, guys, if they have like kids 1200 free, they'll just say in the event description, kids 1200 free, and there's no ticket needed for it, and you're good to go. Because like Austin mentioned, if you do have a $0 ticket, it's still going to charge you that $1.90 when you check out, so it's not free in the end. So just say in the description, whoever's free that night, just say in the description, and you're good to go from there.
Yep. The next thing I'll show you here is this ticket analytics screen. We implemented this, about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, and there's a lot of really valuable information on it. So I hit ticket analytics, and this is what comes up. I bet you can't guess where this track is located. But this is, it's a valuable screen to give you more demographic information. So you get a heat map about where people are buying tickets from. For any date range you put in, you can go tickets sold, unique customers, unique zips for that date range. The cities, and this cities list of where your people are coming from, to me, if this doesn't scream, where am I going to radio advertise? Where am I going to newspaper advertise my events? I mean, it just to me, it just seems like a no-brainer that, hey, I'm doing a bunch of radio advertising in Lincoln, Nebraska for my race, but in reality, nobody's coming from there. I should advertise in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and Rock Rapids, Iowa instead, because those are where my customers are, at least for this event. That kind of thing. The distance they travel on average, how far an event they're purchasing their tickets, the prices, the types, all of those kinds of things. Demographic, age, gender, just a whole bunch of different information here. And then you can also get individual events. So if I click on an individual event, I can get all the same event analytics information for an individual event. And I can also, again, get the ticket holders, the same ticket holders that I would have gotten before, printing the report, those types of things. So there's a lot of good information in this screen. I think it's super valuable. And everyone has access to it. I want to reiterate that. Whether you're on a Plus, Platinum, or Partner, you have access to all of our online ticketing features. You can utilize these things. You're not getting charged anything extra to start selling tickets in advance. Get us an ACH form, put tickets online. It doesn't cost you anything to do, and you might get new people just because you did it. I mean, this is the one thing that I don't understand is why people wouldn't want to do online tickets in advance. Because you're going to tell me, oh yeah, my regulars will never do that. My regulars will come to the gate the way they always have. Well, then great. Your regulars will still come and they won't get there's no difference to them whatsoever. No detriment, no added value, no nothing. Your regulars will still be there and you can count on them. You get some Joe Schmo who's in town for a baseball tournament, game ends at 5, and they're saying, what do you want to do tonight? Well, they're going to go search online and they're going to say, oh, I can buy tickets to this race. You're going to get new people. You're going to get new people. People are so used to buying tickets in advance for anything that they do, rock concerts, motorcycle events, supercross, anything that they do. Anything you do, you're buying tickets in advance for. So people are just used to doing it. So all you're going to get out of this is you're going to make the process more efficient for your staff, and you're going to get yourself some new blood in the grandstands doing it this way. I'm telling you, you are. There's been research that's been done about it. There's been studies that have been done about it. Even if you don't believe it, I'm telling you, online tickets is a path to new race fans, and I encourage you to take advantage of it.
And with that too, guys, also mentioned everybody's doing online tickets. When you go to ESPN.com and you look at the schedule for, say, MLB, what's going on for baseball games, there's a buy ticket by every single one of those games. Tickets starting at $20, $30, $40. So, I mean, tickets online is an extremely valuable tool, and it adds credibility to your organization as well too. Because you got to face it, we're in grassroots racing, which to the general public you always kind of think of, they're kind of behind the times, they're kind of rednecky, whatever, and rednecks and all that. Well, online tickets adds that credibility. Like, we're up to the times. You can buy tickets in advance. It puts you in that league with other, entertainment type of places. Minor league baseball games, the zoo, movies, all that. Tickets online, it's a no-brainer, especially when it's a free program as well too. And I'll be honest, if you don't even use our program, get your tickets online for some kind of program that works, just because it's going to help your organization grow.
The next step to online tickets, and this is something that we're extremely excited about, is reserve seating. We've built a number of reserve seating maps already. We've now had a race that used reserve seating happen, so it's been tested. It works flawlessly, and so we want to be able to share this with people as well. So I'll go back to that screen where, okay, now there's no difference here in what you're seeing. So if I'm buying GA seats, I can come to this, get tickets here, and it'll only sell GA seats. But for events that are selling reserved seats, I can click on this. When I click get tickets for that one, now I'm here, I'm selecting my seats, and I can buy reserved seats on MyRacePass for any event. So I'm buying tickets to the Grays Harbor World of Outlaws show. I can start picking my seats. It adds them over here. I can add or remove. It's next. It's available. So if this is something for you guys, this is something we're so excited about. If you're starting to sell individual seats, if you're worried about capacity, if you want to make it seem like that there's some enticement for fans to go and buy seats now, buy seats quickly, this is a great way to do it, and something that we're extremely excited about. I'll show you this one as well. We did one for the SRX race at Five Flags. So you can actually have it to, wow, they've actually sold a lot of tickets already. Wowza. So you can actually have it to where I can buy a reserved seat here, or you can say down in this section, you click this section, it's all general admission. I can sell general admission tickets, $35 or whatever I want. So you can sell both. You can have a section of seats that's GA and a section of seats that's reserved. Now, I would encourage you to make sure that those are two separate sections. Don't try to lay that on top of one another. Then you're selling the same seat twice, and that's not great. But if you've got a premium section that's reserved and you've got everything below that GA, we can facilitate that. I wish the one for Smoky Mountain was live. That's frustrating that it's not, but it's a good example. I can't wait till it is, because they are using this to sell camping spots. They've got 50 camp spots in here. We've created a graphic for the camping spots, and you can actually sell your camping spots in here as well. And so there's some creative solutions to be able to do these things. You can sell pit passes out of this. I know we just did that at Smoky Mountain a couple weeks ago, or excuse me, at Atomic a couple weeks ago. So there's some creative solutions to, maybe it's pit stall parking, maybe it's camping spots, maybe it's general admission seats and reserve seats, maybe it's a premium section, whatever it is. This gives us a lot more flexibility and a lot more ability to customize what we're doing for reserve seats. So it's a new feature. We're extremely excited about it. We're building maps left and right. I've got 2 that I'm working on this week, and I've got another one scheduled for next week. Get them into us, man. We want to sell these reserve seats. It's a cool new process for us.
To add to that, guys, like Austin mentioned, as of right now, we're not charging for it. That could change next year if our development team, because there is a lot of development time that goes into it. But right now, we just want to make sure we can get you guys in and get this built for you. So we're not charging for it as of right now. That could change in a month, could change in 2 weeks. So if you guys are thinking about doing reserve seating, go ahead and get with us and get us the information you need. Austin, I think you have a PDF you send them, a list of items that we need, correct?
That's correct, yes. If you're interested in getting the process started, send me an email, support@myracepass.com. We can get you that information, and we can get that off and running, because we're excited. We're really excited about it.
And that goes for, like you mentioned too, not only camping spots, but pit stalls. If you guys want to have your pit stalls laid out for your drivers to pick their pit stall for the year or for one select event, get that into us too. We can do that now with this system.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's all I've got for tickets. I can tell you firsthand from working at various racetracks that you are adding revenue to your program if you've got tickets available online. Even if you don't expect it, you're adding some revenue to it. And that's where we want to be. We want to be helping you guys adding revenue to what you've got going on in each of your individual, each of your individual locations that you got going on. So we talked about news, talked about tickets, talked about some of the website tools. I still want to talk about some report options and then your contact list page. But before I do that, I'm actually going to hand this off to Chris. He has information about MRP Fantasy, the fantasy aspect of the app and how you can add value to your fans' race night, augment their experience that way with fantasy. So I'm going to let Chris kind of take the wheel here for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. And Austin, if you want to go into the fantasy leaderboard real fast, I'll kind of walk them through what they're seeing there a little bit. But fantasy racing is still new to MyRacePass guys, and in the short time that we've had it, it's been a massive, massive success with race fans. Fantasy sports is a huge deal right now to everybody. Fantasy football is obviously the leader in that bunch right now, and it probably always will be. NFL football is a huge fan engagement tool. But now we're bringing that to your organization, and it's really simple. Much like everything else that goes through MyRacePass as far as getting information on the MyRacePass app, there's literally no extra work needed on race night for you guys to input this information out there. Fantasy racing runs itself. When you guys check drivers in and then you go to create your lineups, that will trigger the system to go ahead and create matchups on the MyRacePass app for your fans to go ahead and pick. And what happens is you'll get, let's say you have 9 drivers in one class, maybe it's a short class. Well, it's going to make 3 matchups of 3 drivers in each one. And what you'll do is you'll pick out the driver that you think is going to do the best throughout the night in that matchup of 3. And drivers are, as the night goes on, fans will go ahead and earn points if they're correct, if their driver in that matchup does well. And we also, too, encourage your fans to be at your facility because they do get bonus points for being at your track while they're racing. And that can be the difference sometimes in getting first or second in that night. When fantasy first started off, it was an individual thing. But then as the year went on, we now have full leaderboards for the entire season. So when you guys are racing at your facility all year long, you'll actually have a fantasy racing champion at the end of the year in the individual classes, and you'll have an overall. So let's say you guys run 5 weekly classes. If a person plays along every single race night and picks in all five classes each night, they could be the overall fantasy racing champion. And that's a huge deal for the fans. It makes them feel like they're part of the show and part of the program all season long. Right here, you'll see we do have some fantasy leaderboards created here. One that I created earlier on. You can add your own prizes to the leaderboard. You can go ahead and input what you want. And this is where your sponsors come in. I guarantee you, if you tell your sponsors that sponsor one of your classes, you tell them, hey, the hobby stock class that you're sponsoring this year, we have a fantasy racing league in that, and we want you to go ahead and maybe donate a prize or something, maybe $100 gift card to your body shop or $100, whatever. They're going to be thrilled. It's an incredible, unique, out-of-the-box idea fan engagement tool that they can really be engaged in and go ahead and play along with. And your sponsor is going to love it. I'm telling you guys, get them involved with this and get a chance to go. Some of our racetracks last year, and even IRA, for an example, Dakota sent us an example. They made a reward for their fantasy champion. It's like a little medal they made, and it said IRA and had the sponsor on there, fantasy racing champion. And Dakota, did you guys invite him to the banquet at the end of the year as well, too?
We're talking about that. I got to finish getting a banquet scheduled.
Gotcha.
That's actually from one of our sponsors. They give all of our feature winners a medallion that looks exactly like that. So that's why we went with that route.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. And so I do know, like, one of our sanctioning bodies, they went ahead and had an overall champion, and they invited him to the banquet, gave him a jacket, gave him a trophy, and they let him present the championship award for one of the classes as well, too, one of the actual classes as well, too. They made him part of the show, and that's what this is all about, guys. making your fans feel like it's part of the show. The drivers love it as well too. At I-80 Speedway last year, I had one of my drivers, where I'm the announcer at, I had one of my drivers tell me, hey, tell the race fans that the first 5 fans that come into the pits after the show tonight and show me they picked me on their fantasy team, I'm going to give them a free t-shirt. So it's an incredibly huge fan engagement tool. I'm not much of a hobby stock guy or a sport mod guy, but I do know that, doing the fantasy racing now for all the classic hobby stocks, it now gives me a reason to sit there and watch the heat races and the features, because now I have a reason to cheer guys on. And it's an incredibly fun tool to play along with too there. Austin?
Yeah, and actually, Chris, if you could wrap this up so me and my 7-year-old can go make World of Outlaws fantasy picks, that'd be great.
It's a good point. Yeah, World of Outlaws are our fantasy racing right now. So with this, it's $6 a month for the fantasy racing for a fan to play along with. That includes live timing and scoring. It includes driver insider stats and information as well too. Murray County Speedway, had your hand raised. You have a question there?
Okay.
Nope. Well, and with that too, though, I mentioned though that you guys have a chance to go with prizes here. Making a leaderboard is real simple. It takes maybe 10 minutes to do it. One thing I want to show you though is the prizes here. And go ahead and scroll up there where it says the heads up right there. So those prizes, are those published yet there, Austin, or not?
I don't think we can because it's a demo network. I'll try though. Okay, they're published.
Okay. So what happens is you can add your prizes in there and leave them kind of behind the scenes a little bit. But once you publish them, they're permanent. There's no getting rid of them. So make sure that if you add your prizes in, first place gets $100 to Walmart, second place gets whatever. Save them in there and then double check your work, triple check it sometimes, and then go ahead and also make sure that everything's correct, because once you publish them and they're on the app, there's no changing them. You can't add anything to them. You can't remove anything to them as well too. But there's a lot of great ways to go ahead and, to really engage that fan base. And then the award prizes here, when the season's all done with for the year, you can just click award prizes, and then it kind of finalizes your records essentially. It lets you know, okay, John Doe, he won, he's your overall leader, and his email address is john.doe@gmail.com. So it gives you the contact to reach out to and let him know he won there as well too. On top of that, we do also not only use season-long fantasy leaderboards, but let's say you guys have your season-long fantasy racing going on for all your weekly shows only, but you have a 3-day event going on that's not associated with weekly racing. You can do a standalone 3-day fantasy leaderboard challenge for that special show. I-80 Speedway does that every year with the Silver Dollar Nationals. They have a season-long I-80 Speedway fantasy racing show. And then for the Silver Dollar Nationals, they have their own standalone program there for that. So, but again, it's an incredibly cool fan engagement tool there. That's going to be a huge help to really engage that fan base for you. And I guarantee your sponsors will really love the process there.
Yeah, and this is a good example as well here. I brought in one from a real event. You can see the groups that are included. So basically the event dates that are included in that fantasy standing, as well as the actual, who finished where. And you can view the full standings as well. So I couldn't find an example where I had actually won, but at least they're here as an example.
So yeah, that's kind of a quick rundown of the fantasy racing side of things there, guys. Austin, I'll turn it back over to you on there.
Sure. I'm going to look at reports here next. We have a lot of reports that you can go through. I'm not going to go through each one. You can look at them at your leisure. There is a couple that I want to highlight, though. First off, you can get entry list reports, including a transponder list. So you can go in for each event date, and you can take a look at all of the transponders that were taken off of you, or that were used, and you can sort this list by who rented them and who didn't. So it'll give you a pretty clear view of who you have to chase down in terms of transponders that were rented. So that's a good one. There's also a couple of lineup option reports that exist here as well. Lineup sheet, event lineups, and chalkboard lineups. I used to say that I've never met anybody who preferred the chalkboard lineup, and then Dakota started working here, so I've met one person who enjoys the chalkboard lineup. As an announcer, I actually prefer the other lineup options because it'll give you the name and the hometown and the number all in one line, so I can just kind of basically go through this list as I'm announcing. and it makes it pretty easy for me. There's result reports in here, for yearly. For IMCA tracks, there's one that I definitely want to highlight, an IMCA race report. You can run this, choose the date that you want to send it off for, and this is good information to send Virginia for your IMCA points. So keep that in mind. The IMCA result report is in here, definitely valuable. But the one that I really want to highlight down here, there's a bunch of points reports as well, but the one that I really want to highlight here is this 1099 report. Last week we went through an individual race. We went through the process of calculating your points and pay and going into the payments tab. The process of clicking the create payments button also pushes the data to this 1099 report. So this report will give you, whether it's a driver or an owner, how much money everyone made, as long as it was more than $600, and the address that's on file for them. This is why registration is so important. You want the drivers to be auditing their own address information. You can do that by making them register at the beginning of the year. Put in a yearly registration, share it on social media. Even if you're not charging a registration or a membership fee, just have them register so you've got this address on file so you don't have to go chase them down at the end of the year. You're not Facebook messaging guys trying to be like, all right, what's your address? Make sure you've got it on file. You can take this information, you can export it as a PDF or into Excel. You can then combine that to where you're housing their social security numbers and do your 1099s that way. Makes your financial record keeping extremely straightforward. And again, as long as you've got the address, we're good. Everything is good there. Beyond that, again, there's some competitor reports, with some, different stats. And I actually use the stats one a lot when I'm getting ready for banquets. It'll kind of give you some information there. Actually, let me jump in here. But as I'm getting ready for banquets, I can kind of print this off. Makes, at least that way you can give some stats here at banquets, things like that. But a lot of information in here. There's a lot of reports in here. But again, that 1099 one, that hinges on you putting the correct information into your points and pay tab, getting create payments, and making sure you've got guys registered so you've got their addresses on file. That's really all I've got tonight. We're running a little bit longer than I thought we would, so I apologize for that. Is there any questions you guys want to shout out here before we wrap?
I think Morgan does.
Probably Mickey.
Hey, I have a question. On the USRA stuff, how now that you put it in our system, it shows that we have to click whether we did a temporary license or they have a license. Is there a way to print? Is there a report for that to where we print reports that who purchased a temporary license?
Yes, there is. At the very bottom of the screen, actually, there's a bypass report. So these are the drivers that you allowed to compete without a license. And then there's a temporary license report as well. So the drivers who purchased the temp license that night. So yeah, those both exist down here.
And then there was a question here in the chat here too, as well, from Murray County. With the leaderboard for each race day, how would I award prize for the first person that is not at the racetrack? Well, you can actually see who is and who is not at the racetrack. It will tell you in attendance. So if your top three are all at the racetrack, you'll see under their name, it will say in attendance, in attendance, in attendance. So just look at the standings, and then the first one that doesn't show they're in attendance, that'd be your guy to go to, and you'll see his information as far as his email goes, and his name or her email and name on the back there.
Yeah, I think you actually have to add prizes first to be able to see that stuff, because right now I'm just seeing the winners. But yes, Chris is correct. If you add prizes, you'll be able to see if they got an attendance bonus or not.
Yeah, and that goes for the app too. If you're on the app and you look at the leaderboard on there as well too for the night, you'll see who's in attendance on the app as well too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, if you add prizes, then you'll be able to see that information up here in the winners section.
How much is the prize number for something like that?
Well, I guess when you add a prize, because it's awarding by position. I don't know. That's interesting and not something that I've done before, to be honest with you. So you're just going to award the first person who's not there. You're going you're going to have to do some custom work on that. You're going to have to make that pretty known on social media and over the PA and all that kind of stuff. The top person who's not here is going to get awarded a prize. I'd probably put that in there for like position 7 or something else that you're not going to use. And then when you award prizes, you just hand it to mail it off or whatever else. Can you add prizes before the event or can be done at the beginning of the night? I usually would recommend to do it before the event just because there's a lot of things happening on race night, but you theoretically could add them on race night. Yeah.
And so with this too, I kind of want to clear that up a little bit here. The leaderboard you see here, these prizes are meant for the end of the year prizes. These aren't going to be your nightly prizes, essentially. So you're letting the fans know when you create this leaderboard here that at the end of the year, if you play every single night at our racetrack for either this select class or for our overall classes, then this is what you're going to win here. So
I'll fight back on that. When I did my dad's race, I added them all just like this too. I just created a custom leaderboard for one night. I added a leaderboard that was one night long. And added the prizes that way. So you can do it on a single night too, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Yep. Good point.
Yep. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a weekly leaderboard. I think it's cool. And as an announcer, I read lucky number programs all year long. So I read 4 numbers out of a program that's going to get just don't make your announcers do that anymore. Give it away through fantasy. It's a lot more fun. I can promise you that. It's the worst part of being an announcer is lucky number programs.
It's up there. We do have a tutorial on how to add a leaderboard on our YouTube channel, myracepass.com/YouTube, under the promoters channel playlist. It's about a 7-minute long video. Kind of shows you how to break it all down, how to go ahead and add your prizes in there as well too. So that'd be a good way to really see how it all will work for you.
Yeah. Unless anybody else has any other questions, I want to again thank you all for taking the time out of your evening to be a part of these for 3 weeks in a row. We are going to do this obviously every spring, every year, in the March, April timeframe. We're going to continue to do these types of webinars that are going to be, long form like this. There are also discussions about doing some shorter form, very topic specific webinars, bi-weekly or, monthly or whatever else throughout the course of the season. So keep an eye on your emails about that stuff because, that's still kind of being decided on what the format is and when it's going to happen, but it will happen at some point during the racing season. But first and foremost, if you've got questions, concerns, or anything else, call the support line or email support@myracepass.com. That way myself and Chris and Dakota and everybody involved can all be able to look at it. And we're happy to help get you started on whatever you want to get started with. We want to try to make your racing season as positive and as efficient as we can. And so if you've got questions for us, definitely send them in. But again, thanks guys I know we're taking an hour away from you every week, families and whatever else. So thanks for doing that and being involved in your racetracks. And, we know how this is such a passion project being involved in dirt track racing. We know that you're not out there to make a killing on it. So the fact that you're involved at all, you have my gratitude for that. If you have any questions, definitely reach out to us.
We'll see you guys.